ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. It's another edition here on the Broadway Podcast Network, and also wherever you are watching us on the YouTube or the Instagram. Do I sound old when I say the YouTube and the Instagram? Probably. You know what is not old? New works. New works at the Roundabout Theater, like Jonah, just playing 3 weeks from change to go see the show. It was so exciting to talk to the star, Gabby Beans, and the playwright Rachel Bonds to talk about this new work that's on stage that you can go see right now. You got to support off-Broadway work, new works, new plays, and we're here to tell you all about it. Coming up right here on the Roundtable.
Well, we love Roundabout. We love the work that's done at Roundabout. We love new works. We love plays that are written. We just talked to Danya Taymor this morning over here at The Outsiders, and she was raving about these two people that she's gotten to work with, and Gabby. But Gabby, why were you so mean to Greg on Succession? That's what I want. No, you weren't mean. You were lovely to Greg. Gabby is here. Rachel Bonds is here.
I was so not mean. I was put in an impossible situation.
Oh, that's fair.
Like, how are you going to consult a first-year law student about high-octane legal troubles? He set himself up for failure is what I'm saying.
I think you're right, Gabby. That is fair. And then you jump from television to the words of Rachel Bonds right here. How's this journey with Jonah been for you?
It's been such a indescribable blessing to work on, like all the reason I became an actor is because I wanted to work on meaningful writing with artists that I admire, and that's what this process has been. So I'm very grateful.
And this show is deep and serious. And Rachel, where did the idea of fantasies and these characters and this innocence that is a journey that goes through it, where did this idea come from for you, Rachel?
A few places. Gabby's heard this like 5,000 times. So sorry, Gabby.
My pleasure.
I always say I think that the seed of the play was planted during the 2016 election. I was pregnant with our first son, and it was that very hot summer, or it just felt very hot to me because I was pregnant. But the TMZ video came out with the locker room talk, and I remember thinking like, oh, I was like, oh, good, this is it. This is gonna sink this guy. He's out of here. And then it was it slowly, and it was like this slow, horrible shock that I realized that it was actually going to have zero impact on him, and almost everybody felt like it was harmless. It didn't seem to matter at all. It was something that I considered so violent. Didn't seem to matter to anyone. And it just got me thinking about all the locker room talk that I had been either the subject of or a witness to, and how I had also, when I really started thinking about it, I had also normalized it. And so I felt like the seed of the play was planted then. And then during the Kavanaugh hearings, when Dr. Ford gave her testimony, and watching her, it was just so clear that that experience from when she was 14 or 15 was still so present in her body, even though it had been so long. And that just really was resonant with me. And I started thinking about so many of my earlier experiences of sexuality and as a girl. And I realized how problematic most of them were. And so that was when I felt like the play really took root. And then I had a residency over the summer at Space on Ryder Farm, and I had like 5 days away from our little one, and so I just wrote in like the heat of the summer. I just like wrote really fast, like it just kind of poured out, and I wrote 75% of it there. Yeah, and I mean, I have my own journey with dealing with some past trauma of another sort, really, and how that I've learned how it's affected my body today, and so I think that was also just brewing, and that's how the play was birthed.
Yeah. Ooh. And then Gabby, I mean, when we go back to the skin of our teeth and we go back to your other theatrical works here in New York and around the country and television and et cetera, you're no stranger to taking on heavy subject matter. You're not afraid to jump in there and get your hands dirty. But this show is so interesting because without giving anything away, it's a weaving journey as an actor. You have a real arc and story to play. How did you discover the tools and the words and the actions that led you to tell this story through all the night every night of the week?
Well, I think I was sort of Danya and Rachel in the room led by example. And what we found is that the play has a very specific way that it wants to live as an event. And so a lot of it was just trial and error of understanding what allowed the piece to be buoyant, like what kind of choices it could hold and would sort of push it forward, and what kind of choices became very, very immediately, clearly wrong, 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 wrong. So it was a little bit of a learning curve because, a lot of times when you're working on a new play, you just kind of bring stuff in and you try some stuff and it's like, okay, da, da, da. But this, Rachel's writing, I think, is so specific and it just wants to live in a certain way. So very quickly when you're working on something whether or not it's right. So it was just kind of like following those breadcrumbs. And then I think another thing about this piece that's a little bit different than some of the other stuff I've done is that it's just very athletic emotionally and energetically. And so a lot of what the process was of learning how to feel good in the piece was just getting the reps in and sort of getting familiar with the contours of the event in addition to all of the actor work. And once I think we got our legs underneath us in terms of just understanding what the demand was, that now we're in a place where I feel more free on stage than I've pretty much ever felt. And that feels really good. So it was really worth it.
Well, while we're talking about it, you have a couple weeks left to see it. Go to roundabouttheater.org if you're listening to us. Run. And if you want to follow Gabby, go over to Instagram at Gabby Beans and go to rachelbonds.com. And we give the full plug here. We are giving click away, click. Read. I did the deep dive. I was all up in Gabby's resume earlier. We go in. They let me run a credit score, we'd run it. But we try to. I'm kidding. No.
I've been working on it, so you can go ahead and look.
Same.
Solvency 2024.
I'm trying here. It's hard to live that artist life. Rachel, I pay the bills. Rachel, what is it like when you see an actor like Gabby? When you see this cast take your words, I can only imagine what it's like to take it from the page and see it really come to life. How do you describe that experience?
Wow. It's moving. It's very moving. And I would say the most moving day is always the first day of tech, when you go in the theater in the morning and you see just this sea of people who have come to work on this thing that was just like a little flicker in my head, and to see this huge group of people who are putting their work and their talent toward it, that's incredibly moving. But I mean, watching just the actors, it's exhilarating. Yeah, it's exhilarating. It really is, and especially now that they are really, really living in it. It just watch. It's like watching. It's like flying. They're flying in it, I feel like I feel that way too. Yeah, your heart kind of flies. I mean, that's why I do theater, even though it pays nothing. Although I will say the Roundabout actually paid me a living wage, and they're the only theater to have ever done that. So thank you, Roundabout, because it has been an amazing, amazing professional experience. But the reason I keep coming back to theater again and again is because it's just like you just feel like your life feels enormous. It feels like this is the life I wanted. Like everything feels so expansive. Yeah, it's a real high.
I hear that. Ooh, that's right. And Gabby, for you, when you read this for the first time, what was it that made you be like, I know this character, I know this part, I'm the person to do this job? What connection do you have to this piece?
Well, it's funny you should say that, the feeling of feeling like I'm the person to tell the story. It was the opposite. I mean, I just really liked the play. And what was I just loved it. I was very moved by it, even just on the page. It felt like it touched, my heart in a very, very deep place. And whenever you encounter writing like that, it's worth investigating further. But then in thinking, Rachel, you've heard this 8,000 times, but thinking about the part and what the part would demand of me, I honestly did not know if I could do it. I felt very intimidated, scared, and however, I've learned that oftentimes when I feel that feeling, it's pointing me towards a new horizon, of who I can be. So after meeting with Danya and understanding how focused and clear-minded and what a great leader she was, I knew I would be in good hands to at least try and see where we land. So that was kind of what it was. It was just really loving Rachel's play, really respecting Danya's work, and wanting to do something that I wasn't quite sure if I was going to be able to do it.
Well, you're doing it, and you did it, and it's up there, and it's done. So check that off the list.
Here we go.
Done.
Here we
Hey,
are.
that's it. Onward. Rachel, do you feel that this cast, this show, is it lightning in a bottle when you look back now, when you show up and sit in the back of the theater, or when you open the show, when you see the personification of these characters come to life, is this experience, was this what it I think I know the answer. You told me you got paid a living wage and the show is up.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But I knew that right away. I mean, I knew that from day one, because everyone is just really, it's a group of very generous, kind, and highly intelligent actors, with a really strong work ethic. The language is hard, right? Like it's athletic. It really is. And there was such a dedication to getting it right. And I mean, the punctuation is hard to nail down. I mean, it's nailed down for you, but it's hard. It's difficult to memorize. I mean, I write almost like, it feels like I'm writing music. I'm like scoring. I'm scoring music. That's how it feels. That's the experience of writing for me, is like trying to capture a rhythm. Um, and this group of actors was just so dedicated to getting that right. And yeah, they're just, I mean, you guys are just such a really lovely group of people, who cared really deeply about the characters. I couldn't have asked for better.
I love that. Yeah, Rachel, I would have been fired because I could have memorized your word perfect punctuation. I'm done. Gabby, who did you run lines with? Who helped you? There's got to be some unknown person out there who helped you get this off book.
Olivia, one
Yeah.
of our
RPA.
PSM,
Yeah.
RPA rather. They were so integral. My partner Patrick was really nice and helped me run lines a lot. So thank you so much, Patrick. And that's not anything you want to do, but also I will say, just to piggyback off of what Rachel said, my castmates are absolutely spectacular. And, you know, if I ever was like, hey, do you guys want to meet up before or after rehearsal and run lines? All three of them were always game, always down to just run scenes. And so I felt incredibly supported. I felt incredibly supported.
Oh, I'm sure the day the show was set and the lines were learned, it's like, oh, woo, we did it. We're ready to put this baby up here. Who is the show for? It's not a show specific for gender. It's not a show specific for age. It's not who, Gabby, who, and Rachel, for both of you. Who is the show for? Who do you hope goes and sees it?
Oh, everyone.
Yeah, period. Yeah.
Truly everyone. I mean, of course, I'm writing from I identify as female, and you know, the Anna does as well, and she carries the play. The play is her. She is the heart of it. But I think and I hope that it could offer healing for everyone who sees it. Because I think what it's really exploring is how we process the difficult things that happen to us. And I think that's universal. And we all have bodies, and all of our bodies are keeping the score. And so I think, and I hope that the play is for everyone.
I think so too.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, if you have a past,
A
show's
childhood.
for you.
If you have a
If you have a
childhood,
childhood, this show's for you.
or
If
a
you
lack
haven't thought
thereof,
about
right?
God,
Because
this show's
I
for
think
you.
it's Anna has so little of a childhood, really, you know, and so it's also written for those of us who grew up really quick.
And I will say, like, at the stage door, you know, the reactions that I've been privileged to hold space for after this piece
Yeah.
have come from so many different types of people. Across age, race, gender, sexual orientation, all of the categories of human have responded to this piece. So
that means you got to get your little selves here. You get a ticket. The Roundabout, it makes shows affordable. The Roundabout makes shows available to people. You need to get your tickets. Jonah is right now. Look, I replaced poor Gabby. Got replaced with cartoon Gabby. Jonah is now playing. You have a couple of weeks left to get your tickets, and you just got to head on over, go to roundabouttheater.org, and make sure you get your tickets. And like we said, follow Gabby. Go to Rachel's website. We're trying to keep, do the deep dive, see the art, see the work. And we're ready for more stages and screens and more words from both of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was great.